I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky, drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights, listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Okay. This is the man I was talking about, Tatsuya Adachi. I brought this one especially today under his name because I worked with him 2 years ago in Iran for a class level 2. And then the year after that, he had a heart attack, unfortunately. He was professional FIVB teacher, real professional. Okay. We have 3 level courses for FIVB. We are level 1, how to play. Level 2, how to teach. And if you go to level 3, you want to coach the teams. And these are working hours and rest and total days. But you can see here, instead of 12, we have 5 days here because now we have online material. And one of the coaches asked me whether we should take the online. Yeah, you should take the online. Of course, today after this class, I'm gonna speak to FIVB and ask him exactly what we have to do, but you have to take the online and the practical exam. Okay, the FIVB Coaches Course System, FIVB Volleyball Cooperation Program. We had the VCP Volleyball Cooperation Program in the past, and SAP program, different program. Now they are changing their system, and they're trying to make it shorter and more effective, and using more internet system. So we expect them to see some changes, in the future also. In volleyball, we have some centers, development centers. Like we have I was in Bahrain in development centers, and in India development centers. There are some development centers you can see, Africa, Sudan, Tunisia and Senegal, Asia, India, Thailand, Bahrain, Indonesia, Japan. We trying to get one development center in Iran. That's for future we're trying to, but you have to have the place for it, you have to have the accommodation for it, you have to, we are thinking that we get another development center in Tehran in Asia. North Central America and the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Barbados, South America, Venezuela, Argentina. These are the centers you can see, and they are not doing exactly, they are doing exactly what we are doing here, They set up the courses and they register people from outside their country, so they are not doing anything different than what we are doing here, but they call it centers. Okay, other activity that we see in volleyball park FIVB park volley. Park volley is very good for children and youth, and I'm sure you are doing in your area too. And mass volley in the park. We set up so many nets. Sometimes we call it mini volleyball. But mini volleyball is different, you know. But these are the terminology that we are using and we are doing in our countries are same thing, you know. U volley and under 185 centimeter for volleyball for short people. Some places they're doing, some they're not doing. Now for the short players we are using a 2 libero. So we give them a chance to the good volleyball player who are not tall. Right now the Iran team is carried 2 libero, but 1 on the court. But sometimes, you know, they are thinking of putting 2 liberos sometimes on the court. That's possible, you know. Audiovisual and modern volleyball, we see the statistic and when analyzing the volleyball, analyzer, so very important. Like a Iran team now is carrying 2 analyzer. So 1966, I was with the Iranian volleyball team, 1966, 50 years ago. We were 9 players, 1 coach, all together 10 people. Now Iranian team carried 10 people with them, you know, coaches, doctors, analyzer. So it's changing now. And other teams, same, you know, Poland, Japan, all, you know, they're 12 people, 12 players, 14 players, 10 extra players, coaching staff, all these things, you know. This is the headquarters of, I'm sure all of you know this one, headquarters of the FIVB in Switzerland. His telephone number and address. The mission of FIVB is growing very fast. Too many tournaments, a spectator is if you come to Iran, 10,000 people. When Poland plays Iran in Tehran, 10,000. It makes you crazy, you know. I prefer not to go to the match. I sit down at home and watch on the TV and shut off the voice, you know, because they drive you crazy, you know. 10,000 people. So it's growing very fast. Too many tournaments, women's, men's, junior, youth, seniors, different tournaments. Always volleyball is something, somewhere is happening. Last night, we saw the volleyball here, at the same time in Japan, at the same time in Mexico, everywhere involved with volleyball. Now comes the World League, starts very soon, and then Olympic Games, World Championship, Asian Championship, Asian Games. Too many tournaments, too many players involved all the time. and fast growing, one of the fastest growing sport. And their mission is governing and managing, communicating all these things to see everything is going well, everything is happening, and more youngsters coming to the volleyball, more youth coming to the volleyball, and more involvement, and is happening. At least what we see in Iran, because Iran now qualified for Olympic. 3 of the matches Iran played last week, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody up 5 o'clock to watch the game. I myself woke up 4:30 to see 5 o'clock match. It's important. Everybody talk. And the youngsters coming now is effective, very effective. And after 52 years, qualified for Olympic. After 52 years, that's very good. FIVB today, one of the top 3 global international sporting federation. Probably the first is a soccer. I don't know, maybe it's a soccer, soccer. Provides leadership to 500 million players and 33 million licensed athletes. 220 affiliated national federations. That's very big. 220 federations. Almost entire world. A yearly average TV audience of 5.5 billion viewers. So that's because now we have the outdoor volleyball, beach volleyball, also. They have organization, like everybody else, every system have an organization. All the federation, they have an organization. And the supreme decision organ of the FIVB, that they make the decision for FIVB, meet every 2 years. 220 representative of national federation. Is big and is growing very fast. The last one was in Anaheim, California, where the new president were selected. And the FIVB organization, Board of Administration, the executive committee is a very big and system, and they're making decision for what is happening here right now. This class is the product of what we see here. Coaching, refereeing, competition, they have so many commissions. That's natural, the coaching commission, medical, development, television, beach volleyball, and the rules, refereeing, technical, press, finance, legal, and the beach volleyball sport event, World League, World Grand Prix. Is very big organization with many different function and tasks. And handling so many tournaments on the board, different boards, is very hard, you know. With the high quality teams and very important tournaments. The recent last week tournament in Tokyo, it was very important. All the country wants to get to Olympic Games, and the matches were very close, 5 games. One game went 46 to 44. Was that? 44 to 42. Yeah, I was watching that game. It was very important, you know. Okay. I mentioned some names that I mentioned that there are some names are important and some dates are important. FIVB President History. There's only 4 presidents. It starts 1947, now we are on 2016. And one of this man were there for so long, Acosta. And he did so much for improving the FIVB and volleyball in the world. So Paul Libaud, France, Mexico, China, and now Brazil, Dr. Eria Graska. But these 2 last very long. This one, 2008, 2012, 4 years, but here, 84 to 2008, 47, 84. So these are the men that worked on FIVB, and what we see right now in FIVB is because of their effort and management. They have some meetings, World Congress, Board of Administration, Executive Committee, Presidents, and FIVB Administration. These are natural. Any organization have this kind of activity and okay, Continental Federation. This is something that we know about it. African Volleyball Confederation, 53 nations, members. AVC, that Asian Volleyball Confederation, they have so many matches because they have a AVC Cup, Asian Championship, Asian Games, and they have Asian clubs and world clubs also. European Volleyball Confederation, 55 nations, 65 nations. Norica Volleyball Confederation, 35. South American Volleyball Confederation, 12. So this is entire world, and all these confederations are working. And there are, of course, European confederations, very strong. In volleyball, very strong. And they have more share in Olympic, European, but they are good. They got France, you have Poland, you have Serbia, you have Russia, and many other teams, you know. Now new teams are coming. I'm watching, you know, some of the good teams. I was watching Slovenia playing, was very good volleyball developing over there. And Czechs and Bulgarian, Hungarian, they're other countries, they're coming. They're coming very good. I don't know in future they're going to raise now 12 teams for Olympic. It seems not enough. Maybe 16 would be better because there are so many good teams don't get the chances to get in. Even in Europe, there are so many good teams. Asian now believe they should have more than one team in Olympic because they have a better volleyball team. You know, Japanese, Korean, China, Iran, Australia, and Thailand is coming now. The women's are improving very fast. So they believe they should have more than one share for Olympic. Like last week, tournament, only Iran qualified for Japan, Korea, China. China was very good, very young team, very good team. Almost beat Iran, almost. And in North America, American are very good. Canada is coming very good, very strong. Of course, there's South America, Brazil, and then there Cuba. But it was amazing. The Venezuela was playing very good at the end. In the beginning of the tournament, Venezuela wasn't very good, but after 4 or 5 matches, they start playing very good. There are so many volleyball competition, very many. And that's what is so huge. Everywhere, all the time, something volleyball is going on. Somewhere, some competition always is on. Like Olympic Games, now we have in Brazil, but prior to that we had the World League, World Championship, World Cup, Olympic Qualification Tournament, World Grand Championship Cup, World League, World Grand Prix, Junior World Championship, Boys and Girls Youth World Championship. Beach volleyball is now getting very big, and so many countries getting involved with beach volleyball now. And you don't have to have a beach to have a beach volleyball. You can set up the set court and have a team. Olympic Games again. So with this many tournaments during every year, and some of them every 4 years, some of them every 2 years, but there's so much work. And the management is very hard to managing these many tournaments with high quality players, high quality teams, so much television, so much economy involved, so much money involved, so many people involved, but they are doing it very good. FIVB income and expenditure, that's 2011. Not, you're in 2016 now. That's how much they made, how much they suspended. There is something happened in Iran because of volleyball, the television and Iranian Volleyball Federation. You know, the television in Iran is belong to the government. So 10,000 people come sit down for 3-4 hours, and the television is televising so many advertisements. But one of the problems is between Iran television and Volleyball Federation is how they come up with their money, you know, how the price, the money they have to get from television. But since the television is belong to the government, that makes it very hard for Iranian Volleyball Federation. But other nations, television is not belong to the government, is a private sector, you know. So there's so much money is involved, you know. But the volleyball has a history. It is good to know our history about volleyball, where volleyball started. In 1947, FIVB was founded. First time FIVB, 1947. It's a birth date. I was 1947, I was 1 year old. Done. With only 14 countries, only 14 federations. It was very small. Now 220, almost the entire globe. The headquarters in Paris. Paul Libat of France, the first president. So this is very important, the father of the volleyball. Remained head of the FIVB for 37 years. That's a long time. In 1984, what was that? That was Olympic Games in Los Angeles. The big turning point for FIVB. That's where the new president left and the new president came, the old president left. Ruben Acosta was elected new president at the World Congress in Long Beach, California. FIVB moved its headquarters to Lausanne, and Paris, Lausanne, Switzerland. Dynamic style of leadership. One interesting thing. Iranian Volleyball Federation invited him to Iran many times. He never came. We had the World Championship, but he never came because of his wife. Because any lady comes to Iran must respect our custom. He didn't come because he didn't want to bring his wife, because everywhere he went with his wife, but he never came to Iran because our customs was not respected by him. He never came. We had a world championship, I guess we had the junior world championship in Tehran. Big, but he never came. He was very high class person and going everywhere with his wife, but he wanted to bring the limousine close to the aircraft. When he come down, limousine be there, but he was a very high class person. And he did work hard for volleyball. He did so many things for volleyball. Volleyball very fast-growing sport during his year. Very fast-growing sport. Okay, when we look at here, these dates, today, 1947, 14, now we are 220. That's almost the entire world federation. And during the years from 14 to 45 to 89 to 101 to 220, during these years, that's fast. That's really interesting. 1949, the first World Championship of Men was organized in Prague. The first World Championship for women was organized in Moscow. So, 1952, Olympic Games, 64. The first Olympic Games was held in Tokyo for the first time, volleyball in Olympic. This is an important date. This is a very important date. First Olympic for volleyball, 1964. And then the World Cup, 1965, 1973, 1977, in Poland, Uruguay, and Japan. Another important date is here. Beach volleyball as an Olympic sport. Now we have everything in beach, soccer on the beach we have. Beach volleyball was included as an official discipline at the Olympic Games in Atlanta, 1996. Olympic Games in Atlanta. So if we look at this slide, from 1947 to 2016, we see a fast growing of FIVB. Very much difference between here and 2016. Where we are now. When we look at the tournaments with the World Championship, the first World Championship were organized in Prague, 1949 for men, and in Moscow, 1952 for women. And then Olympic Games, testifying to the prestige attained. And then the World Cup, 1965, Poland hosted the first World Cup for men before Uruguay hosted. So one of the things we see that different parts of the world had share in this advancement of the FIVB. Europe, Asia, South America, North America. So, and just about the global movement, the global movement now. Africa now is in volleyball, involved in volleyball very much. And so that's what we have reached, 220 federation now everywhere in the world. But the real history of volleyball starts here. A name, this is an important name, Morgan, 1870, 1942, who was born in New York as the inventor of the game of volleyball, inventor of the game. They invented the game, they call it volleyball. Volleyball was initiated in 1895 at the Holyoke, Massachusetts. Massachusetts now is a Boston Celtics basketball. Volleyball started in Massachusetts, but now the best sport in Massachusetts is the Boston Celtics basketball team. As a recreational activity, volleyball is a recreational activity. You know, we play for fun at the park, on the streets. For businessmen, originally volleyball was called mintonette. But the name was changed in 1896. This is another time that we should remember. 1896, we find a new name for what we have now, volleyball. Volleyball became popular throughout the United States, especially at the summer resorts and playing ground. The YMCA, this is I'm sure so many of you familiar with this, know this YMCA. YMCA is an organization, not for only a sport, for everything. They started to collect the youngsters from the streets and give them the education, food, and then realized they have to give them the sport too. I went to Liberia about 10 years ago for FIVB class. Liberia in Africa. There was one gymnasium only in town, YMCA. And was built by that organization, YMCA. The condition was very bad. But that's all they had. But the players were good. No air condition, no power, just a natural light, and not very clean, very bad. But that's all they had in Liberia. But there were some good players, very enthusiastic to learn volleyball. Okay, YMCA is very important organization. You know, AVC is a Asian Volleyball Confederation. That's what we are in AVC. And again, the AVC, they have their own organization. Like, actually, AVC is a small FIVB in Asia. A small FIVB in Europe, a small FIVB in Africa, a small in North America and South America. And they get their information from FIVB. But they got this is a big organization. And Japanese and Chinese, they got very influence, so much influence. You know, the Matsuo Daira, he was the coach of Japanese team during the Munich Olympic, the first place. He made the Japanese volleyball, Matsuo Daira. He's no longer living, he died. He was the president of AVC for a long time. And then now from China, again from China. Now, Dr. Saleh bin Nasser from Saudi Arabia. He is the head of the AVC. He came to Iran one time, I met him. He is the head of the AVC now, Dr. bin Nasser. But still, Japanese and Chinese, they have very much influence on AVC. That's natural, you know, they have volleyball and headquarters is there, you know. Just. Other, this is especially shown, this is because this class was in Tehran, he especially the Tatsoya especially prepared this one to present in Iranian class, FIVB class. That's what he made this, especially AVC for Iranian coaches, you know, they know about the AVC because so many players play volleyball, but they don't know very much about AVC. They just play because they don't have to know because they're playing just. But same thing is for Europe, for Africa, for North America, for South America, for Norika. They have the president, they have the organization, and they control, under the law of FIVB, they control the tournaments within the continent. This is for Asian continent. So we have the same thing for Europe, same thing for Africa, same thing for South America and North America and other places. So we see about FIVB, we see the small organization from 1947 to become a very big organization in 2016, from 14 to 220 affiliates. And the advancement of the volleyball in all the nations, and the interesting things happening in volleyball every day, and people like to see volleyball because volleyball is interesting to watch now. It's not just game, is art, and a specialized player which we do not have in any sports. No sport has a very specialized player like volleyball. Of course, in every sport we have position, like in soccer we have different position. But we do not have a specialized player. In volleyball we have a specialized player. He goes inside and do something and come up. The only things we have seen like volleyball is American football. That you have a specialized player in American football. And when we're looking at the volleyball, one game, volleyball. In one game, one set of volleyball, the libero maybe plays only 100 seconds. But how important is these 100 seconds? Very important. I'll show you something. In World Championship 2014, recently, 2 years ago in Poland, there was 104 matches. I lost 2 of them. Because I was following, I lost 2 of the matches. I just only registered 102 matches. In 102 matches, 44 of them was 3-0 because of the first set. The team won the first set and won 3-0. The 23 of them, I don't want to show this one. I'm sorry, I'll show something else. I'll show you something, what I was going to show is this one. Energy system. Iran versus USA, men's, 2011. The first game, 21.5 minutes only. But the time they played, 246 seconds. That means one volleyball player, good volleyball player, in one game only plays 246 seconds. That's not very much time, but it's very important. Very important. And the rallies, longest rallies, 17, 16. We had one rally 29 seconds. Only one happened. Here, Iran versus China. One rally 22.45 seconds only happened once. 18 seconds only happened once. So these red numbers are the net play time. 247 seconds. That means your team only playing 240 seconds for one game. But how much of this is belong to libero? Maybe 100 seconds. But what I'm trying to say, no sports, we don't have anything like volleyball. In any sport, there is no sport like a volleyball. Volleyball is a specialization now. Libero, outside hitter, middle blocker. They switch. There is only one sport like a volleyball. American football. The guy goes inside for 3 seconds. The libero comes inside for 5-6 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But how important is a libero? Last night we were saying this women's match between France and Montenegro. And the liberos were good. The liberos from France, very good. A specialization. No sport, in all the sports we have a position, but not like a volleyball. Volleyball is a specialization, is not position anymore. We want him to play 5 seconds, very good 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. That's not very much time. We did this one because we wanted to say that volleyball, what's energy system we use in volleyball? ATP, ATPC, ATP, lactic acid, that's all. 4, 6, 30, 40. That's all. Anaerobic system. Volleyball is an aerobic system. Because there is always question, what energy system we need in volleyball? Anaerobic. 40 rallies, 30 of them under 6, 6 of them over 6, 4 of them over 10 seconds. But we can talk about this, about the specialization in volleyball. A specialization, there is no sport like volleyball. And we don't know about the future of volleyball. They raise the net, we don't know. Bigger court, we don't know. But it's very interesting right now. That's what the volleyball is growing so fast. It's interesting to watch. It's not boring anymore. In 2 minutes, suddenly you're winning. In 2 minutes, realize you're losing. I thought, I was watching Canada playing Iran in last week, 10 days ago. Canada dominated first 2 games, dominated. Very important match. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I left home because I had to go to work because it was 2-0. I said it's over. The match is over. When I got to university, I saw the Iran won the 3rd game, and then the 4th game, and then the 5th game. Suddenly changes. Every 2-3 minutes volleyball in every game and match changing. one player makes so much difference suddenly in 2-3 minutes. Somebody goes on the serving, suddenly make 4, 5, 6, 7 points. But the history of volleyball is interesting, that we should know. Perhaps, the reason that we see so much progress in volleyball is because the presidents stayed long. The first 2 presidents stayed very, very long. Because so many organizations, when they change the people, the organization cannot make so much improvement, because people coming and bringing new ideas, and so much changes happen. But the FIVB first 2 presidents stayed so long, especially the second one, the man from Mexico. He made so much difference in volleyball. And so now volleyball is running so fast. It's going so fast that nobody can stop it. And more interesting to watch, quick, and so much art, so much skills, and bigger people, faster ball, serving, spiking, digging, and the specialization on the court. Everybody doing. We don't know what's going to happen in volleyball in next 10, 15 years, but we can be sure it's going to be more interesting. Okay, Coach? Anything to say? You want to add anything?
I guess just this presentation is a few years old now, so now we have the FIVB are doing things about green volleyball, being in tune with the environment and stuff like that, and volleyball your way, so being very adaptive and giving people the opportunity to play anywhere. Ibrahim tells me when he begins volleyball as a young player, he plays on the street with a rope, and he has to avoid the drains and stuff like this as he plays. But this is the sort of philosophy now that the FIVB want to introduce, so lots of opportunities, adapt the game. The other thing that misses on here is sitting volleyball. It is in the Paralympics, and there's obviously with a lot of wars and stuff like that, people with amputations and stuff like that, they now adapt the game for sitting volleyball, and it's a very good game. It's a very exciting game as well, and lots of good teams around the world. Iran are very good at sitting volleyball. So as Ibrahim talks about, it's very diverse, very dynamic, and the FIVB is always looking for new ways to present volleyball to different markets, to different people. We also now have snow volleyball. You perhaps see it, they play on top of mountains in the snow, the jackets. So they're always looking to find a new way, and this is the modern way of things. Marketing, being on TV, and trying to be something different from other sports.